The heavens were invaded by the demon king and his army, but the guardian of the gods stood against them, crushing the army by himself. However, there was a traitor among the gods, and the guardian was killed, causing his soul to be split into 72 fragments and spread across the human realm. With the guardian defeated, the demon army flooded the heavens, and the gods tried their best to fight. The gods are overwhelmed, but as a last resort, they used their remaining energy to seal the demons away. But without the gods looking over the world, chaos started to spread, and the only way to restore order is by collecting the 72 pieces of the guardian's soul and using his energy to free the gods. In the present, the world is in chaos, and we see two brothers, Yun and Shen, as they take shelter in a house. But the ground shakes and the house starts to collapse, so Yun puts his brother into a basket, and they manage to get out just in time. Meanwhile, their father Gong fights against an enormous demon, but he struggles against it, and he gets smashed into a pillar. The brothers arrive, wanting to help their father, but the demon suddenly attacks them. Their father manages to block the attack, stunning the demon, and he throws them up onto one of the pillars for safety, while he blocks the demon's attack. He transforms his weapon, turning it into a 3-section staff, and wraps it around the demon's hand. He knees the demon in the face, and proceeds to strangle it with his weapon. But the demon breaks the chains, and sends him into the air. But he kicks the 3 sections of his staff around the demon, and he activates his skill which binds the demon. But he knows this won't hold the demon for long, so he runs away with his boys. They make their way to a cave, where they find an area covered with vines. Gong uses a skill to open the heavenly gates of the palace, making the vines recede, and revealing 2 swords on pedestals. They pull the swords out simultaneously, as a gold container emerges before them. Gong gives it to Yun, telling him to give it to his brother when he grows up, claiming it's his destiny. His father hands him the other sword, telling him that the 2 swords have been passed down by the demon hunters. The ground shakes, and they realize the demon must have gotten free. They head deeper into the cave, and barrier charms activate around them, which prevent demons from passing through. They reach a stone bridge in a room filled with lava, and Gong explains it was a spirit room used by past demon hunters. The demon suddenly breaks through the ceiling, and Gong gets caught, but uses an ability that makes parts of the walls crash into the demon. He manages to get free, and he uses another skill to trap the demon into a spherical prison, which then falls into the lava, covering the area in smoke. It looks like they have finally won, but a bell suddenly rings, and Gong is stabbed from behind by a mysterious woman. Gong falls to his knees, and the boys start crying, but as a last resort, he decides to send them away, activating his final skill. The woman tries to pursue them, piercing through the barrier and scratching Yun's face, but the boys suddenly disappear as they are transported away. 10 years later, Yun has grown up, and Shen dresses up as a giant lizard monster. We see a man as he is accompanied by a demon hunter into a building. The demon hunter detects the presence of a demon, claiming he can sense the 1,000-year-old gecko demon, and he tells the man to wait outside. The man runs away as the demon hunter summons his weapon. He enchants his beads, throwing them around the room, and he hits the gecko demon. He follows up with another attack, cutting the demon's head off, but the man suddenly panics, asking the gecko why he screwed it up. But Yun appears behind him, knocking him out, and he wakes up tied to a pillar, asking the brothers who they are. Yun threatens him, and the man admits he is actually just a fake demon hunter who has been working with the demon to scam people of their money. He partnered with a weak demon who would haunt buildings, and then he would pretend to hunt it down, and they would split the profits. Shen wonders how people are so easily tricked, and the man says it's all thanks to his handsome face that makes people trust him, saying that Yun's face would never convince people he's a demon hunter because he looks like a bandit. This triggers Yun, so they leave him tied up and dressed in the gecko costume. After that, Shen undergoes his coming-of-age ceremony, since he is now 14 years old. Yun performs the ritual, causing Shen to be surrounded by light, and talismans surround him. The light disappears, and Yun tells him he is now an official demon hunter. Shen questions if he is ready, but Yun tells him to believe in himself, and shows him the gold container their father left to him. Shen opens it, and he finds a tiny iron rod. He wonders what it is used for, and Yun only remembers how their father said it was his destiny. Shen treasures it since it's a gift from his father, and he wears it as a necklace. At that moment, an old man runs to them, asking them to save the town, because there's a mist that has caused people to disappear. He offers them money, but Yoon thinks it could be another scam. So he is more interested in continuing Shen's coming-of-age ceremony, ready to show him a good time, but he runs into the old man, who drops his bag, revealing a golden bell, and Yoon remembers the woman who killed his father. So they decide to check out the town, which is completely surrounded by mist. While walking around the town, Shen suddenly disappears, as Yoon sees a cat demon who talks to him. He asks about the origins of the bell, but the cat starts attacking him. Yoon dodges its attacks, and the cat demon attacks him from behind. It uses the mist to disappear and reappear, and it manages to hit him from behind. But Yoon spins around, creating a whirlwind that clears the fog around him, and the demon is knocked to the ground. She begs him not to kill her, and Yoon asks her about the bell. The girl claims she just happened to find it, but she doesn't know where it came from, so Yoon tells her to just leave the town. She thanks him for his mercy, but she suddenly lunges at him. However, Yoon is prepared, using his backslash technique, and he easily defeats her. But as she disappears, she tells Yoon that her brother will get revenge for her by killing Shen. Meanwhile, Shen is attacked by another cat demon, who looks down on him for being a kid. But Shen claims he is no longer a kid, as he prepares to fight. Yoon watches from a distance, and calls it a final trial. The cat launches his attacks at Shen, who skillfully evades the attacks as he closes in on the demon. The demon grabs onto his stick, but Shen manages to overpower him, and even land a hit on him, but this makes the demon angry, so he starts fighting seriously, using his speed to attack Shen before he can even react. He breaks Shen's weapon, and Yoon thinks about helping him, but his necklace starts to glow, and he grabs onto it, and it transforms into a weapon. Shen throws it at the demon, blowing him away, and releasing a powerful energy wave that can be felt from miles away. The energy even reaches the demon woman, and she realizes that he has finally awakened. The weapon pierces through the demon's chest, but he is still alive, surprised to see the golden staff in his chest. He notices Shen is no longer conscious, so he tries to pull out the staff, but Yoon arrives, asking him about the bell as he threatens to kill him. The bell rings, and the demon becomes hypnotized, so he reveals that a woman named Samir gave it to them, knowing the brothers would appear if it rang. Yoon asks about Samir, but the demon says it's none of his business, as he starts repeating his mission to kill the demon slayers and snatch the soul fragment. The bell starts spinning wildly, and it enters the demon's mouth, causing him to explode. The explosion is caught by two people, who seem to be from a more advanced civilization, who head for their teleporter to check it out. Shen wakes up, and Yoon tells him he did a good job. He retrieves the golden staff, but it transforms back into its tiny form. The duo from the advanced civilization arrive, telling them the staff doesn't belong to them. They scan the artifact, confirming that it is their target, and calling it the Shenzhen staff. The duo approach the brothers, but Yoon is in no condition to fight, because he suffered some internal injuries from the explosion. Shen tries to talk to them, but the girl tells him to hand over the staff. Yoon tries to stop them, but he is easily defeated. The girl threatens to kill them, but they still refuse to hand it over, calling her a pig head because of her mask. The girl becomes angry, but her companion stops them, saying they have no ill intentions. He uses their technology to heal Yoon's injuries, surprising him as he realizes that even his internal injuries are gone. Yoon asks them why they want the artifact, and the girl claims that the staff has always belonged to them. We learn that the staff was once used by the Guardian, the strongest warrior amongst the gods. They introduce themselves as the envoys of the fairy clan, Sorrow and Shu. Shu removes her mask, and the brothers think she is cute. Sorrow explains how the staff was lost after the Guardian was assassinated 100 years ago. He reveals that their goal is to find the 72 fragments of his soul, to break the seal on the space where the gods are trapped. He says the staff is the key to finding the soul fragment, because it has the ability to sense the traces of God. Yoon thinks it's a clue to finding the demon that killed their father, so he doesn't want to give up the staff. He asks them how they can be so sure that the artifact is really the Shenzhen staff, and Sorrow tells them about how it produced energy waves when it was awakened, which spread throughout the 6 realms. Sorrow warns them that the demons would have also felt it. He explains that the demon King Mara and his army were also sealed away with the gods, so he thinks the demons will also be making a move to free him. Yoon doesn't trust them, but Shu tells them that if they don't free the gods, the world will continue to be in chaos, and if the demons break the seal first, the world will also be doomed. Shin decides to trust them, giving them the staff, and Yoon supports his brother's decision, thinking it will keep Shen away from danger. As they leave, Shu thinks they are trying to trick her with a fake, since it has turned to iron, but when Shen takes it back, it becomes golden again. Shu is confused at what is going on, and sorrow reveals only a pure heart can wake it up, and it has acknowledged Shen as its new honor, so they have no choice but to bring them along, and the brothers agree to go, thinking it must be fate. They claim the reward from the old man, and they look at the staff which points them in the direction of the next fragment. Sorrow summons a ship, and they all board it to begin their journey. They travel through the desert, and we see a strange woman named Ying, who passes out on the ground. The ship detects her, and performs an emergency evasive maneuver, causing the ship to go flying off to the side. Shu wonders what's going on, and the ship tells them about the woman it detected. Yoon looks around, seeing a woman in the middle of the desert, and he rushes to help her. She passes out in his arms, and he sees a wound on her body, so he carries her back to the ship, but Shu stops him, telling him not to let a stranger in. Shu finds the situation strange, while Yoon thinks she's just jealous of her figure, so they begin to argue. Ying is able to enter the ship, and Sorrow asks her how she got injured. Ying says she ran into a group of bandits who tried to kill her, but she was able to get away from them. She asks them to take her back to the dark canyon, because she is scared of running into the bandits again. Yoon tells her that they're also going to the dark canyon to find fragments, so he thinks fate must have brought them together. Ying is curious about the fragments, and Shen shows her the staff, saying it detected a fragment in the dark canyon, but Shu becomes upset because they are telling her everything, and she tells him to put the staff away. Sorrow suggests leaving for the dark canyon the next day, as he leaves the room with Shu. While the brothers are sleeping, Ying uses her ring to create some web, trying to take the staff from Shen, but Shen moves his hand, preventing the web from reaching the staff. The door suddenly opens, so Ying returns to her bed, as Sorrow appears after taking a shower, but he realizes he's in the wrong room and he leaves. The next day, Yoon starts looking for Ying, and Sorrow says she seems to have already left. Shen realizes that the staff is now gone, making Shu upset, but Sorrow remains calm. In a flashback, we see Ying in a cave, where she is surrounded by a group of bandits, and her sister Mei has been caught by them. The bandit leader recognizes her as the best thief in the world, so he orders her to steal the Shenzhen staff. Ying knows about the artifact, but she thinks it's just a legend, because people have been trying to find it for 100 years, but none have succeeded. The boss tells her that it's real, claiming nobody was able to find it, because it was sleeping, but now it has awakened. He shows her a soul fragment of the Guardian, claiming it has the power to destroy the entire valley. He activates it, causing the ground to shake, as rocks start flying toward the ceiling. He claims he will be able to control the demons if he has the staff, because it is the strongest divine weapon, and he warns her not to go against him. He promises to let them go if she gets him the staff, but Mei reminds her about her oath to never steal again, knowing she will suffer if she breaks it, so she tells Ying not to go, but one of the bandits interrupts, saying Mei will suffer if she doesn't do it. Ying threatens them about harming her sister, and the boss promises nothing will happen to her if she succeeds. Back in the present, Ying goes to save her sister, while she reprimands the brothers for saving the girl and losing the staff. Sorrow drives them to a certain location, knowing they will find Ying in the area. He tells them they are headed to the spider web cave, showing them the entrance, as he informs them that the passageway inside is complicated, so it is easy to get lost. Sorrow shows them his device, pointing at the signal of the staff, and Yoon is determined to get it back. In the cave, Ying returns to the bandit leader, giving him the staff to save her sister, so he returns Mei to her, who blames herself for the situation, because she went to the valley alone. But Ying is just glad she is okay, and they start walking away. But the bandit suddenly blocks their path, as the boss tells them that they can't leave, saying he has prepared something fun for them. Ying calls him shameless, shooting web with her ring, which she wraps around the boss's legs, taking him down and retrieving the staff. The other bandit charges at her, so she tries to use the staff, scaring the man, but nothing happens, so she just uses her ring to blind him. They start running away, while the two men chase after them, but Mei suddenly trips, telling Ying to leave her behind as the bandits close in. but Ying doesn't leave her, summoning a giant web to trap them, but the boss slices through it and tries to attack them. He ends up hitting the ground, separating the sisters, and Mei tries to kick the scrawny bandit, but he easily catches her leg, while Ying dodges the boss's attack. The scrawny bandit tries to stab her from behind, but she uses her web to pin his hand against the wall. The boss takes another swing at her, but Ying jumps away, trying to hit him with her web. However, he summons rock from the ground, which hits her and knocks her down. Mei checks up on her, and Ying tells her to just run, but the other bandit manages to get free, and he traps them in a barrier. Meanwhile, Sorrow tells them it will be difficult to precisely locate the staff within the cave, so Yin suggests splitting up, and he takes Shen with him. They run through the cave, and Shen thinks they're going the wrong way, but Yin tells him about the unique scent on Ying. They see the sisters as they are trapped in a barrier. Mei begs the boss not to hurt Ying, saying she will do anything, and he tells her she will be treated well as long as she behaves. The bandit removes the barrier, and the boss slowly makes his way towards them, but Ying attacks with her ring, scratching his face. The boss becomes angry, summoning rock spikes to attack her, but Mei jumps in the way. She is happy to be able to protect her sister, but she passes out. Yun becomes angry, charging with his swords, but the boss blocks his attack. Shen tries to ambush the other bandit with a rock, but the bandit dodges and kicks him away. There is suddenly an explosion, which creates an opening in the cave, and they are joined by Shu and Sorrow. Shu fires her cannon at Ying, but Yun blocks the blast, deflecting it into the ceiling. The brothers try to stop Shu from shooting again, telling her she should be targeting the bandits. They see a barrier surrounding the bandits, and they notice how the bandits are using the power of the soul fragment, saying they have absorbed it into their bodies. Shu wants to destroy them, but Yun gets in the way, telling the sisters to run. The boss claps his hands, causing his men to appear, and he orders them to attack. The bandits charge at them, but Sorrow uses his tornado magic and blows them all away. The bandit leader tries to kill Shen, but Yun gets in his way, telling Shen to run with the sisters. Shu extends claws from her cannon, and she pushes the boss back. Sorrow uses magic to create a thunder cloud, and the scrawny bandit tries to create a barrier, but Shu punches him away, while Sorrow summons a thunderbolt and electrocutes the boss. The brothers help the two girls get away, and Ying apologizes for lying to them, but Shen tells her it's not her fault, knowing she did it for her sister. The bandit boss gets back up, attacking with his fists, while Sorrow jumps back, using a fire spell on the boss. But he creates a rock shield, reflecting the flames back onto Sorrow. Shu comes to his rescue, clashing with the boss, and they are both pushed back. The boss starts using the power of the soul fragment, which is revealed to be only a small portion of the fragment's power, but it is still a threat to them. The boss launches rocks at them, while Sorrow creates a water shield, but it is not strong enough, so they jump away as Shu fires her cannon. The boss uses a rock to make the projectile explode in midair, but it breaks into smaller projectiles, causing an explosion around the boss, and he uses a rock shell to defend himself. He starts to think he's invincible, but he doesn't realize he is standing in water, and Sorrow uses his lightning on it, electrocuting him while Shu fires her cannon, and the boss is defeated. They retrieve the soul fragment from his body, and they escape from the cave before it collapses. Meanwhile, we see the brothers with the two girls, but the scrawny bandit suddenly lunges at them. Shen tackles him away, but the bandit immediately gets up, wanting to attack Shen, but Yun interferes. The bandit dodges Yun's attack and counters with a kick, pushing him back. Tentacles appear behind the bandit, attacking Yun as they exchange blows. The bandit jumps, launching his tentacles at Yun, who barely evades the attacks. Yun is at a disadvantage, so Shen grabs onto the bandit, while Yun dashes toward him, but the bandit traps Yun inside a barrier as he kicks Shen away. Yun slashes at the barrier as the bandit uses petrification magic on him, slowly turning him into stone. Shen pounds on the barrier until his fist starts bleeding, but it does nothing, and the bandit pushes him to the side. Shen starts to cry, thinking he is useless, but at that moment, the staff starts glowing, and Shen grabs onto it, transforming it into its true form. He uses it to break the barrier, and also reverses the petrification spell. The bandit kicks him away, grabbing onto the golden staff, but it immediately transforms into a small iron stick. He tries to turn it back into the golden staff, but his arm gets sliced off, as Yoon's petrification has been completely dispelled. They begin to exchange blows, but the bandit notices Yoon's speed improving, reminding him of a certain warrior. Yoon manages to land a hit on the bandit, making him fall to his knees. But the bandit knows that demon hunters can't kill humans. Yoon says he doesn't deserve to be a human, but the bandit laughs, telling Yoon how he reminds him of the twin blade hunter, thinking Yoon must be his descendant. He says that over a dozen years ago, he was ordered by his master to find the twin blade hunter, and they ended up fighting. Yoon wants to know more about the hunter, but the bandit suddenly hears the ring of a bell and ends up dying, releasing the soul fragment from his body. Back in their ship, Saru tries to heal Mei with his magic, but her injury is just too severe. Ying thinks she is going to die, but Saru suggests sacrificing her body to seal her soul, so that when the gods are freed, she can be resurrected in another body. Ying accepts his idea, and Saru seals her sister's soul into her ring, and she feels as though her sister is still with her. Meanwhile, Shen wonders why he has been chosen, seeing himself as incompetent because he couldn't save anyone, but Yoon reminds him of how he saved him from the bandit, saying he has potential. He tells him that Mei can still be saved if they can collect all the fragments and free the gods, so he tells him not to lose hope. They return to the ship, and the fragments are absorbed into the staff. Ying asks to join them on their quest, wanting to do what she can for her sister, and Yoon is happy to have her on the team as they continue on their journey to save the world. But that's where